What's up, cinephiles? We are back with number 8, episode 8. This is CineTalk with the CineBros. And who are the CineBros? Well, you can find us over at facebook.com/the CineBros. And what we do here is this is just where a bunch of movie lovers get together and shoot the shit about movies, because who doesn't love movies? Everyone loves movies. But we're going to move on here, and I'm going to get on to my co-host. Been upgraded from guest to co-host with the most. The man, the myth, the legend, Sir Chadwick Davis.
I finally got the title of co-host.
Yeah.
It only took 8 episodes, but I'm finally there.
Finally, I you know why? I think it's because of your great quote that we have, the new Chadwickism, which I'm gonna actually make this clip.
Yeah.
I am gonna make it, and we are gonna have a button that we can hit every once in a while, and it's gonna say, "Just let the dinosaurs eat some kids." Let the fucking dinosaurs eat some goddamn kids.
I was actually on my way to AC over the weekend, and I played it for my buddy Dewey.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell him about it at first, and he was listening to it. He was dying.
Like some mozzarella sticks. They need their appetizers.
Chicken tenders.
Yeah, the chicken tenders. Oh my Lord. So yes, we will. You have been, because of that, you have been moved up to co-host.
Nice. I appreciate that
because of the comical genius that was.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Bill Pia was the one that said that I had to mention that. I didn't quote it exactly, but I listened to it recently, and I actually did laugh. I laugh out loud for an extended period of time. So yeah.
I made you laugh once? I mean, usually you don't laugh at my jokes. Usually you just, kind of shrug them off. Like,
let's just say,
Chad being dumb.
Let's just say, no, you just say you're so smart. It just goes right over my head. That's what we'll say. We'll say that.
Okay, I'll go with that.
All right. I'm having a little trouble with the cameras here. It's like going in and out. Maybe I'm coming up too far. I'm probably just moving around too much. It's just both of us.
Yeah.
It might be your blue shirt, actually.
That might be clashing with the background.
In the background a little bit. I might have to change that up
Hartford
a little
Whalers.
bit. Yeah, Hartford Whalers. Yeah. But let's move on. Let's go right into this. Let's dive in. Some of these episodes are getting long. We're trying to shorten them for you guys and make it more of an impact. Yeah. So, we will be alternating episodes now. We'll have one episode come out every week. I actually fell way behind on editing the last one, and I'll start alternating every week. And the way that I have it breaking down, it should be able to get them out much quicker for you now that I'm a little more organized. So anyway, we're going to start off with new news. So would you like to sing the new news for us, huh? I know you're so...
I don't have a new jingle to come over.
I know, the pipes of this golden angel next to me.
I have a feeling Nickelodeon was going to come after us if we kept that Blue's Clues one that I used last week. So I'm not going to go with that one this week.
Was it Steve? Is that who was that? Yeah, Steve. And then there was his cousin or something like that came on afterwards.
I don't know.
He ruined the show.
I just remember Steve.
All right, so we're going to move right into it. New news. In a recent interview with Kathleen Kennedy, said that Indiana Jones 5 will happen. There's no script, but it will happen in Disney's house. There's no timetable yet, no nothing. But Kathleen Kennedy said it will happen, and it's going to happen in their house. Are you excited for another Indiana Jones movie, and would you want Harrison Ford to be back reprising his role in the next movie?
Who wouldn't want Harrison Ford back for this role? I mean,
indeed,
he's been in all of them. I mean, I know the last one didn't do too great.
Crystal Skull, yeah, that one suffered.
I know it just didn't do that well. But
the story with it, the great thing about it is though that Crystal Skull, I was living in an apartment in West Haven at the time, and where they filmed some stuff in New Haven. They also filmed in West Haven, and they filmed right across. My apartment was, the town green was right in front of us where our apartment was, and right across that was kind of a main street. They filmed a car chase scene on that street.
Yeah.
So I was literally out my window watching them go, like doing all these crazy things and going down. And then when I watched the movie, I was like, oh, I recognize that place. Like, and that was the main reason why I wanted to go see it. I mean, obviously Indiana Jones, I love those movies, especially the third one with him and Sean Connery. I think that's personally my favorite. But all of them are just epic movies. Yeah. I mean, Harrison Ford, that for me is his iconic role. Yeah. A lot of people think of him as Han Solo. I think that Indiana Jones is amazing. Like that role is just him to a T.
Yeah.
I love it. And I can't wait for this movie to come out. I mean, unfortunately, Harrison Ford's almost 80 years old, I think.
Yeah,
I think he's like 72 or something. I mean, he's getting old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how much longer he can do the action and stuff that is required.
A small cameo, or not even a cameo, even if he's in it and not really doing that much.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited about the movie coming out. I'm excited that they're actually, in the works of doing it now.
Right.
And Disney's doing it. I think that's a big part of it too. And Harrison Ford coming back, I think that would be a huge, thing to do for that movie.
I mean,
bring him back for a small role.
I think Harrison Ford has to be in it. For me, I want him in the movie. I think that he makes that role. Yeah. I don't care if he passes the torch on to somebody like a Chris Pratt or Bradley Cooper, or even if it's more unknown actor. I think there's a character that he's playing a younger version. I can't remember. I think his last name is Ingruber. He kind of looks like a younger Harrison Ford, and he does a lot of impressions. He has some stuff on YouTube, and he does impressions of Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can kind of get a glimpse of his skill set. I don't think he'll go that over the top, because when you're doing impressions, usually you have to go a little more overboard.
Yeah.
But he's pretty good, and I wouldn't mind seeing even him, as long as he's a good actor. I know he was in Age of Adeline, but I have never seen him act. Yeah. So, after I see that movie,
I keep on going back to the Kingsmen, the young kid that was in that.
He would be good.
I would love to see him in more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Shia LaBeouf did not get the torch passed on to him. I mean, especially after the fact, where he kind of slammed the movie, slammed the director, slammed himself. Didn't I mean, it's one thing to make a bad movie, but you don't go and bite the hands that feed you. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm open to a lot of different actors, as long as he makes a cameo. If not, he playing almost like the role Sean Connery did in the third film, and I'm drawing a blank. It's the Last Crusade. The Last Crusade. So yeah, with that, we'll just move on to the next one, because we're both pretty much want Harrison Ford in some capacity.
Yeah.
Recently, there hasn't been other news yet. I guess it has been officially released, kind of, that for the new Spider-Man movie, a short list of directors that have been released. The directors that have been released are Jason Moore from Pitch Perfect. We have Jonathan Levine from 50/50 and Warm Bodies, Ted Melfi from St. Vincent, John Francis Dalkey and Jonathan Goldstein, who are directing the Vacation movie, the reboot sequel, the reboot-quel, whatever you want to call it, that comes out relatively soon. And Jared Hess, another director who did Napoleon Dynamite. Who, out of these choices, who would you want to direct? I know you haven't seen any of the Spider-Man movies, but you kind of get what they are. Yeah. I mean, they have a little bit of a romance story. It's a little bit of comedy, a lot of action. Who would you want to see direct this kind of movie out of these five? A
lot of these directors are they don't have a lot of body at work. I was looking through the list, and I kind of picked out a couple that I could see kind of doing it.
Yep.
I mean, Jason Moore, he's done Pitch Perfect 1, and he did Pitch Perfect 2.
And we don't know how good that is yet, but it comes out this week.
Yeah.
So it might change.
It might change after I see Pitch Perfect 2, but at the same time, it's not like that kind of genre. It's really goofy. I know the Spider-Man movies kind of have some kind of comedy in it, but
a little
not
serious
goofy.
too. I mean,
not goofy.
Yeah. It's fun.
He directed a couple of Dawson's Creeks and One Tree Hill episodes. I mean, that's his body at work right there. So I really can't go off him. Jason Moore, I don't know. I'm gonna have to throw him out. Jonathan Levine, he did Warm Bodies in 50/50. He's those two movies are kind of similar to like Spider-Man, kind of like where they had the comedy.
I haven't seen 50/50. I heard it was pretty decent.
It was decent, yeah.
And Warm Bodies, I did see most of that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that movie, but I wouldn't say it was anything that I loved.
Yeah, exactly.
It was okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see Ted Melfi do a little bit more, because I love St. Vincent. But that was the only thing he's done. I mean, he did a couple short movies, but I would love to see him do something else. I don't know how the new Vacation movie is going to be. I mean, I'm a little on the fence with that one. So
we can talk more about that.
We're talking later on about it. So, like John Francis Dalkey and Jonathan Goldstein, I'm going to throw out. I'm going to have to go with Jared Hess on this one. I like Napoleon Dynamite, and I actually like Nacho Libre. It was a very like goofy movie.
Did he direct that? Or
he directed it and wrote it. It was very like goofy.
I watched part of that.
Movie.
It was really silly.
And his new movie coming out, The Masterminds. He's directing that. He directed that one too, and with Kristen Wiig, Jason Sudeikis, Owen Wilson. That looks like it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go with Jared Hess on this one, just because he has more of the body of work to prove that he can do it. But I would also like to see Ted Milfy do a little bit more, because he did an awesome job with St. Vincent.
Yeah, I mean, you broke down a lot of the directors perfectly, so I'm not going to get into too much. Yeah. But as far as Jason Moore goes, I think that is more of a comedy. Doesn't mean that he can't step into it. We just don't know, because he doesn't have a large body of work. Yeah. I'm sure he would do a fine job, because Spider-Man is very sharp-witted, and it's got that nervous energy that he could do a good job with it. Jonathan Levine, I've never seen 50-50. I've only seen part of Warm Bodies. I thought Warm Bodies was pretty good, but for me, I don't think that would really necessarily fit Spider-Man. John Francis Dalkey and Jonathan Goldstein, the Vacation movie, the footage that I've seen so far, I'll get into that a little bit more, but I think that it's not really, they don't have a large body of work, so you're not really 100% sure on your comments. But with what I've gotten so far, I'm not sure that that's a perfect fit for me. Jared Hess, the same thing. Like, I've seen a little bit of Nacho Libre. I didn't know he directed that. And Napoleon Dynamite, I've seen. I didn't really like Napoleon Dynamite. I know that was like a cult favorite.
It's a movie where you have to see more than once.
Yeah, and I've seen it twice, but it's not. And I think that's another one of those movies that's a lot more fun, especially if you've seen it with people, like extra people, because you can kind of chat and kind of make fun of it, and quote, and all that kind of stuff. So that's one of those things. Unfortunately I've seen it twice, but I've seen it by myself. So it, you kind of, the second time around, I'm kind of like, off in space, checking my phone, text messaging chat about something stupid probably. But my personal favorite, I would love to see Ted Melfi, because I haven't seen St. Vincent.
Oh, man.
But the tone of that movie and the trailers, all the trailers, because I've seen pretty much all of the trailers for it, were really well done. And that, to me, is Spider-Man. That tone, the serious, the dark, the funny, it had it all. And that, to me, is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I think that he would do an amazing job. Yeah. I would love to see him do it. All right, so the next little topic here is Hugh Jackman confirms it. He has finally confirmed that his last film as Wolverine will be the third Wolverine film. After almost 2 decades of this character, with Hugh Jackman as that character, what do you think Fox will do with the Wolverine character? Recast and move on, say goodbye to the character after a few years before recasting, or something else? I'll let you go, because I mean, you've seen some of the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I don't think they can drop them. They're obviously going to have to recast. But I think I like the idea of waiting for a little while before they recast, so it kind of gets out of everybody's head. Because, I mean, it's implanted in everybody's head.
That's the biggest thing that
Hugh Jackman is Wolverine.
Well, yeah, and that's the biggest thing that's going to have a problem with the Joker is Jared Leto is stepping into the shoes that Heath Ledger did just a few years back.
Yeah.
So
close to each other that big movies like this, it's hard to interchange the big like main characters in these movies, and I think it's gonna be really tough for them. But I think they need to find a character that is totally different than them. I think they should go a different way, like kind of like what they did with Spider-Man. Like I know Spider-Man has 2 different universes or whatever, but they have.
Oh, they definitely changed the style.
They changed the style completely. Yeah. I don't think they could go to I don't think they should go to the route of a character or an actor that looks like Hugh Jackman, and I think they should change it all together. Build a new Wolverine. I mean, they can do that, can't they? I mean, comic books, aren't there different? There has to be different Wolverines out there.
Well, there are different Wolverines.
Yeah, I mean, they can't.
But they are all similar looking.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Wolverine, one of his things is his appearance.
Yeah.
And he has that hair. He has like the kind of always scruffy, and a lot of them he's got like these big chops, like on the side of his face. For me, I'm kind of torn. Like I don't want to see Hugh Jackman go. I don't
think anybody does.
It's one of those characters that I would love for him to play it forever, but the problem is he's just going to get more and more expensive for the studios. The films are going to get more expensive because they have to pay him more, or they're just going to get worse. the films are going to get worse. And I don't want to see that happen either. I want them to do Wolverine justice. Now, if that's take a little bit of time off and cast somebody new, or just boom, right off the bat. They have this whole Days of Future Past thing where they change the timeline. Mm-hmm. Could they introduce a younger Wolverine and have somebody like Zac Efron or somebody, who has a similar kind of build, who's strong, has that kind of strong jaw and the hair color and can, even kind of fit in the role. Not necessarily, don't kill me because I said Zac Efron to replace his Wolverine. I'm just throwing him out there as an option, possibly, maybe. He's a better actor than you think. Don't hate. He's a better actor than you think. But anyway, I would have to say that recasting him off right away might be able to get the taste out of your mouth quicker instead of kind of putting it off and then coming with it. So I don't know. I mean, they're just at a point right now where there's a lot of these actors like Jennifer Lawrence. You have Michael Fassbender and all these characters that their contracts are coming up. And they're saying that they're not going to renew them. So after Apocalypse, they might just reboot the whole franchise. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't want to see them reboot it. I also don't want to see them go with weaker characters. I don't want to see them go with off-the-wall characters. They might just disregard this and go on to X-Force and go that route and then have a new Wolverine come in and have Ryan Reynolds join in as Deadpool and all that kind of stuff and go that route. But I know that I also know that they want to cross over with the Fantastic Four. So it's tough the way that the contracts are up because I think Michael Fassbender said that he doesn't want to really come back. I think Jennifer Lawrence says she's pretty much done with the character. You have, I can't remember who plays Beast. He's in Mad Max too. I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head. I know Brandon Blaine loves the guy, but he's supposedly pretty much done with the character as well, Beast. And I'm torn. I don't know why everybody's bailing on this franchise. It just got huge reviews. I mean, I think it had like a 95 or something like that on the Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, that's a great score. I don't know why you just want to leave and abandon that, but after 2 decades almost with Hugh Jackman,
I can see his point. I mean, he's getting that.
I think, to be honest, I think this is more the studio because they're kind of at the point where they need to do something before he's ready to leave. Because they don't want to get sidelined. Well, the thing is that you can always move on and go on to Old Man Logan because you don't know the comics that well, but in Old Man Logan, it's kind of like his final standoff, where he actually ends up, which could be the third Wolverine movie. That would be great. And it's an older Wolverine still, and he's kind of retired. He's off in the country and not doing that killing anymore, but something happens. He has to come out.
That doesn't sound like a good superhero movie.
No, something happens.
It's just Wolverine chilling out on the rocking chair on the porch.
Cutting down trees with his claws. Get some firewood. Be a romance movie. I mean, it's one of those things that I don't know. I'm torn. I think that, and as long as Bryan Singer is at the helm, I'm okay with it, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna miss him. He doesn't fit the prototypical body build. Like, he's tall and he's jacked, but Wolverine's typically short and stocky, and I don't know. Yeah.
We'll find out soon.
Yeah, we will find out soon. That went a little bit long, but we're on to our next topic. Yeah. Recently, Jonah Hill, he has an extreme weight gain, and we found out since Chad pointed out that there is a couple of sites. They're not well-known sites, so we don't know how
true.
We don't know how reliable it is, but that he might be wearing a little bit of a fat suit. But he has an extreme weight gain, and it set the internet ablaze when they saw a bunch of pictures that popped up. The movie that he's in is The Arms and the Dudes. Now, Page 6, in very poor taste, posted a headline titled, "Jonah Hill is now the whale of Wall Street." What do you think about Jonah Hill's weight gain and the remarks of the popular? It's kind of it's a popular site, but it's more gossipy, kind of more on the TMZ realm than it is like, the good ones like Variety and the Hollywood Reporter and stuff like that. This is more gossipy kind of stuff. But how do you feel about the insensitive remarks?
I actually had to ask you what Page 6 was. I've never even heard of them. Apparently they've been around for a while. just looking through their website alone, they're a very, like you said, gossipy kind of.
Yeah.
Like, just, I think that's what they do, though, is they put those, like, bold titles on there, and you make you look and like, oh
Fish.
Man, what?
They go fishing.
Jonah Hill is now the whale, fishing
Yeah.
whale. But I mean, I'm not bothered by it. I don't think Jonah Hill is bothered by it. I don't think he's not sleeping tonight because page 6 said that he looks like a whale.
You don't think he's sitting on his pile of cash? Maybe that's what the bodysuit's made out of.
As far as the picture goes, I looked at it, and the second I saw the first picture, I kind of thought it was a bodysuit. Yeah. But you can see his looked
face
like
looks
he
bigger.
was gaining weight.
Yeah.
But he's been doing this his whole career, like up and down for whatever roles that he plays.
He was up and down a little bit at the beginning, but
he was doing really well.
He had a good string of 5 or 6 years where he was in good shape. I mean, I would say in good shape, especially for him. I mean, he doesn't seem like he's the type of person that's kind of got that slim build anyway. Yeah. But I mean, there was a point where he kind of looked a little sickly. He got so skinny. He looked a little sickly. But as far as the page 6 humor, the page6.com's comments, I didn't really care for it. I mean, as soon as I saw the pictures, I was kind of worried for him. I mean, gaining that much weight for a role and losing weight, I understand it's their craft and what they have to do. But if I was going to post something, I'd be more like, I hope that, obviously he's probably getting looked after quite a bit. He probably has doctors on the scene. They're checking blood pressure like probably once a week. Yeah. He might be even on, heart meds because that kind of weight gain is really dangerous, and I understand they have to do it from time to time. But especially someone who's struggled with weight so much that it makes me nervous for him. And I hope everything's all right with him because I think he's an awesome actor. Yeah. I think he's extremely funny. He's proven that he can do serious roles and be very successful at them. So I just hope that this doesn't send him down a darker path, with eating. I don't want to see him get into that. I hope that, he has the right people around him so that he can get right back into at least decent shape after the movie.
Like I said, I think he gained some weight for it. I mean, people gain weight all the time for movies and roles and stuff, but I think it's more of the fat suit or a bodysuit.
It's more nowadays that, like, in the last 15, 20 years, people have started to do that for
down,
roles.
They're gaining weight.
Yeah, Christian Bale's, infamous, getting down to like 110 pounds or something like that, and then bulking up to 230 for Batman.
That's just as dangerous as gaining all the weight.
It's extremely dangerous. I mean, you don't eat; your body needs the calories. I mean, it's just. And then you have even Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman said every time he plays Wolverine, he wants to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, granted, working out isn't bad for you, but it's also, it does a lot of damage to your joints and stuff, and especially if you're in that acting realm where you're not supposed to be that big for every role. I don't know. I mean, it never hurts to be, I guess, in too good a shape.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But as far as his weight gain, it just makes me a little nervous. I just, for someone that struggles with it, Recently, Kevin Feige has renewed his contract with the MCU. Now, this is the guy. He is the head honcho of everything Marvel. He is the one that is overseeing it all. Like, you have Joss Whedon, who has been kind of helping him out so that they can kind of keep all the movies together. But Kevin Feige is the one that is overseeing everything. He's the one above Joss Whedon. With that being said, one of the more glaring comments of Kevin Feige in his talk after renewing was that the MCU will never go dark. He hoped that the moviegoers would have caught on by now with the MCU having promoted its movies as with dark-toned trailers, but ultimately the movies end up being more lighthearted, joke-heavy, with tons of action. With all the success that the MCU has had at the box office, how do you feel about Kevin Feige's comments and MCU renewing his contract? I'll start off with this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll start off. I am really concerned. I'm one of those moviegoers that never really got it. I was tricked every single time, and I must be a fool. I mean, whatever. But you put out promotion for your film that is extremely dark and keep doing the bait and switch. After this last film, it kind of left a sour taste in my mouth because I thought it was going to be going down that Dark Knight road. I've been waiting for the MCU to do that. They've kind of done that with a couple of their movies. They did it with the last Captain America movie, The Winter Soldier was a little on the darker side. Hulk, The Incredible Hulk, which is one of the movies that I really liked with Edward Norton. I really enjoyed that film. They've done it with that. I would say even the first Iron Man was a little on the darker side. You know, there were some parts that were very dark in it. Even the first Avengers, I mean, until S.H.I.E.L.D. came out and Agent Coulson was found alive, yes, it had its lighthearted action moments, but there was a dark tone because Agent Coulson died. Yeah. Joss Whedon wasn't very happy that they kind of brought him back to life, but it is what it is. I'm concerned with it. I hate to see that this is the only way they're going to go, and I think that you're going to get backlash in your next upcoming movie, which is Civil War. I think you're going to see it. I think you're seeing it now. Avengers 2, people didn't really care for. Granted, Joss Whedon didn't get the movie made that he wanted to be made. Yeah. He got told no a lot from Kevin Feige and the brass over at MCU. And that sucks for him because he didn't get to make the movie that he wanted to. His vision wasn't able to get out on the screen. Yep. There's supposedly going to be like a 3-hour cut that's going to come out for Blu-ray. I'm going to sign up for that because I want to see if that is actually his vision. I'm sure it's not going to be fully because they had a lot of scenes in this movie. I'm not going to get into spoilers right now, but they had a lot of scenes in this movie that weren't explained. Yeah. Quick, really quick kind of glimpses into what's going on, but didn't explain them. So I'm concerned. I really don't want to see Kevin Feige. I think he's been in charge long enough. Time to move on. You need to change it up. You don't need to go extremely dark like WB does with the DC universe. You don't need to go that dark, but you need to have some dark toned movies. And if you're saying that, no, we're not going to do it, I think you're going to see the box office kind of because they're not going to take you seriously. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I mean, you're someone that doesn't
on the outside of the box
a little bit, yeah. I mean, you're a little on the outside of the box. You liked Guardians of the Galaxy. That was joke heavy. That was like almost a comedy action adventure.
I'm really looking forward to Ant-Man. I'm really looking forward to Deadpool. I mean,
Deadpool is part of Fox.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, me looking at this, I think it was necessary to re-sign him. I mean, just looking at all the movies and the success that they've had. I mean, I know the new Avengers is actually trailing a little bit behind the first one a little bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. But I think worldwide it's doing better. But I want to say in the United States it's a little bit behind.
I think it's falling well behind because I mean in the United States the first one did 207, this one did 187. Yeah. And then the second week out, I think the first Avengers did over 100 million. This one did 77. Yeah. I mean, that's a big decline.
Jump. Yeah. Big jump down.
Especially for probably a higher production budget, I mean, and the marketing for it was probably more.
I mean, as of right now, though, they're still killing it. They're still killing the movie theaters. I mean, the dark tone trailers, I mean, you would think by now that if they've done it so many times that people would catch on to it.
Well, that's my problem is that they haven't done it a ton. They did it with the Iron Man 3. They set you up with Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin. Then the movie comes, they totally, took that away from you. And I was so amped up to see Iron Man 3. I was so fired up. And then they just totally just bait and switched me. And then I was like, all right, you did that to me once, whatever. I'm just not going to be more excited to go see Iron Man movies from now on because the second one was not very good. The third one was it was just as bad in my opinion. I did not enjoy it at all. And now you have this one where they did the same thing. Like Ultron was going to be this extreme, but then it comes out and
he's goofy.
He is goofy. I mean, have you seen it?
No. But I've heard people say that.
I'm not going to get into it.
I guess in the viewpoint, I see where you're coming from, and
I just don't like the bait and switch.
I like the comedy in these movies, like Guardians of the Galaxy. I loved it, and I like the comedy. I like the lightheartedness, and I mean, I don't want that movie to go dark on me. I mean, I want it to stay that way.
Well, I think those have to be like.
But I don't watch the Iron Mans and the Thors
and the
stuff
trailers
like that,
and the trailers for Guardians of the Galaxy. They set you up for fun and comedy and action. Yeah. In the Ant-Man trailer, they're setting you up for comedy. I mean, the little guy when he's done with Ant, the train set is coming. Like they're setting you up for comedy.
Yep.
In these movies, they're not. That's why it's confusing. It's like, oh, okay, this is going to be the tone of the movie because this is what you're selling me on, but it's not.
Well, he officially came out and told you now that.
Yeah, and I.
But hey, you know what? You know what's probably gonna happen? You're gonna have a dark tone trailer, and the movie's gonna be dark.
And if he does that, I'll be pissed off again. Yeah. But as of right now, I'm less excited for Civil War than I was really amped up for Civil War. Now I'm just kind of like, they're just gonna make it all jokey, and I am less excited. And yes, I'll see it opening night, but I'm not gonna be going with extremely high expectations anymore.
Yeah, I think they got to kind of keep these movies lighthearted and kind of not dark, because you're gonna lose the younger crowd. I mean, you're gonna lose like the you want to bring your son to Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Would you bring him to it if it was dark? Like you already said that you weren't bringing him to Batman. Superman.
I don't think I'm going. I've been on the fence with taking him to see Age of Ultron. I don't think I'm going to, because of some of the jokes in it are a little on the dirty side. Like, I mean, they just say some bad words a couple of times. I don't swear in front of my kids and stuff like that. So, you know, I
didn't know they actually swore in it. So.
Yeah. And I mean, there was a part in it where, you know, Black Widow confesses something that's very kind of heavy. And
what are these movies rated?
PG-13.
All right. Okay. All right.
So I mean, but like the first one, the jokes in it was more action fun.
Yeah.
And it had a little bit of a serious tone.
This one was more adult.
This one was kind of a little more adult. I mean, just because of the jokes in it. Like, some of the jokes were just kind of, I mean, I don't want my son asking me, like, what does this mean? Yeah. You know, and I have to explain it to him. I don't want to have to do that. So I was on the fence of taking him to see it, and I decided that I'm not gonna have him see it until he gets a little older.
My point of view was kind of thrown out of the wastebasket there.
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
But you're still gonna lose. You're gonna still lose like the. I think if you make it darker, you're still gonna lose the parents that have those 13, 12, 14-year-olds that they might not want them to go see that movie now because it is too dark. Like. I've never seen it, so I can't really say like how bad it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, what is your kid? 8? 7. So he's on the younger side. So I mean, I could definitely see your point of view, but I'm talking more like the 12, the 13, 14-year-olds around that age bracket where the parents might not want them to see the movie anymore because it is a little too dark.
Yeah. I mean, I could see how they wouldn't want to go, but I mean, you have The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight several years ago made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really dark.
Yep.
You can make money and go dark. I mean, there was like maybe 2 laugh lines in that whole movie, and they weren't like, you know, knee bucklers. They were like, you know, just kind of jokes like that, just kind of make you like, ha ha ha, you know, like a little quick laugh. You can do it. And I think that you can do a dark tone movie. Like Iron Man 3, if they stuck with the Mandarin as this evil character, but in the same time, if they kept him as an evil character and kept, I would have no problem have my son see that. Like, there's evil characters. Like, Darth Vader is an evil character, and he is menacing. I don't mind him seeing that. Seeing good versus evil is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Seeing the swears and all that kind of stuff is a totally different story. I would have much preferred having the jokes, but in the same time having a darker tone. It doesn't have to be like WB, like I said. It doesn't have to be that dark. But I would like to see it just a little. I don't know. They're villains. They're just not making these villains that seem menacing. It seems like they're just more bickering and arguing with themselves. It's almost like freaking like the Golden Girls, like, you know, chatting it up, you know, and making fun of each other.
The new Avengers is gonna be the Golden Girls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now is Daredevil, is that part of the whole Marvel? Is that, I know that
it is.
I'm going towards a TV show now.
It is Marvel.
I know that's really dark.
Yeah.
I think that would be a little too dark for the movies. Mm-hmm. Like me personally.
Marvel, Daredevil used to be part of Fox, and Fox ended up letting that contract lapse, and then it went back to Marvel. Mm-hmm. Marvel decided to go Netflix route with Daredevil because they wanted to make it darker.
Phenomenal show, by the way.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna be watching. I'll probably watch it on the off season. But the dark. They made that dark because they want to go dark that way, and they don't want to incorporate that into the movies. But there has been talk about Daredevil crossing over, maybe. I don't see it happening. Yeah. I don't see that happening because of how dark toned the movie, the TV show is on Netflix. Yeah. I've heard that's really dark. You've seen it, right? You've seen part of it?
I'm up to like the 4th episode right now.
Yeah, and it's dark, right?
It is dark, yes. It's very dark.
All right, so the next one on new news, because we're talking about the Marvel Universe, there was new news that came out recently that Infinity Wars, which is the next Avengers film, like the next full Avengers film where the team comes together, Infinity Wars 1 and 2, both will be filmed completely in IMAX. Does this news excite you at all? Not the fact that it's a Marvel movie, but the big spectacle films in general filming completely in IMAX. Because this is the first one that has said we're doing all IMAX. The cameras are expensive. They're not as heavy as they used to be, but they're still bigger. They are really expensive. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about this big spectacle movie going completely in IMAX?
Does that mean it's not being released in like any normal theater?
They're gonna have to probably do some conversion, but it's gonna. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna do a conversion because they're gonna do conversion anyway because they're gonna do 3D, and they're not gonna film. They can't. I don't think they have a 3D IMAX camera. They have to do it. They have to send it off to conversion.
I know they have a 3D IMAX. Is that a different like? Because Providence is like IMAX 3D.
Well, even the Avengers Age of Ultron was 3D IMAX. Okay. But what they do is after the film is done, they send it off to a conversion company, and they convert the movie into 3D. Okay. You can film it in 3D. You can also send it to the conversion company to take the 3D out to go 2D. I hear that filming in 3D looks better, adds to the depth perception and everything like that. I would think so, yeah. But the conversion has gotten so much better that all the companies are just sending it off to get converted. Because it is more expensive, but it's actually more expensive to take the movie from 3D and take it down to 2D, I think that's what they said. It actually takes longer to go the reverse way to convert it. I'm all for the IMAX movies. I mean, it looks big spectacles, you get a bigger picture, better sound, like just everything in general just would look so much better and bigger. I mean, you can notice on the screen when it goes from the normal size, camera to the big, because it goes up, it fills up the whole screen. It looks really cool, and that would be neat to see on an IMAX screen, especially a big IMAX screen.
Movies like this, I think it's a good route.
Yeah,
definitely a good route.
Anything like this. I mean, Star Wars. You have the Avengers movies. You have Justice League. Any of these big spectacle movies.
Pitch Perfect 2.
Even Pitch Perfect 2. Yeah, you would love to see Anna Kendrick in IMAX. All these big spectacle movies, where you have like this great wide universe, you kind of want, it's like action heavy. Even Indiana Jones, those kind of movies, you want it to see it like as much as you possibly can be engulfed in the movie. I think it's great.
Furious 7.
Even that,
Fast Furious.
The next Furious movie that comes out. All those movies would, I think, benefit from IMAX, being filmed at IMAX. The problem is it's going to be more expensive to film, so you have to have that budget available to you, which I'm sure the Fast and Furious franchise has now because of the extreme success that this last one has. I thought that the Avengers Age of Ultron was going to easily bump.
Yeah, me too.
Fast and Furious 7 out, and it might not get there. No. It's not. I don't think it's going to get to the 1.5 billion mark.
It hasn't. That's worldwide, right? The one.
Yeah. Because it's right now. It
hasn't dropped in Japan yet, right?
What is?
Avengers. I don't think it's dropped in Japan yet. And I mean, that's a big. Isn't that a big market for that kind of movie?
China. I don't know about Japan. I know China.
I think it was like next month that it wasn't going to drop until.
Yeah, I mean
June.
We'll say. I mean, even the big ones. Like, I mean, you're looking at probably 30, 40, 50, 60 million. You're not looking like you're not looking like the US. Like the US is the biggest one out of all of them. The next ones are like the China's, I think it's pretty big. You'll get opening weekends there of like 50 million kind of deal. It's not usually as big as here where you got a $187 million opening. I don't think you'll get anywhere close to that. But if this movie gets to the $1.3 billion mark, it could help it push to the limit of the 1.5. I just don't know if you'll see it pass it. I was like, everybody knows how I feel about the Furious 7 movie. Yeah. I was hoping that by the end of the year we would get Age of Ultron, Star Wars, and bump Furious 7 out of the top 5 all time.
Gonna be tough.
I don't know if it's going to happen now. I mean, Star Wars is going to. Guaranteeing. I will put my mark right on it right now. This Star Wars episode 7 is going to
surpass.
It's not only going to surpass, but it will come close to the Avatar movie. I think it's going to come close to the all-time. I especially if this movie's good, I think it's going to get to the 2 billion mark.
Nice.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see it.
Well, we'll know once we get there.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Next segment up is in or out of the trailer park, the movie trailer park. Everyone loves a good movie trailer, and here is where we talk about 5 of the top trailers that we just watched and caught our eye recently. Sometimes there'll be 1 or 2 more if we got some of that guy kind of hit us at the last minute. Yeah. But for the most part, we're going to try and keep them to 5 from now on. First trailer up is May 5th. The U.S. trailer number 1 came out for Mr. Holmes. Mr. Holmes, starring Ian McKellen as Sherlock Holmes in his retirement years, has this for a synopsis. An aged, retired Sherlock Holmes looks back on his life and grapples with the unsolved case involving a beautiful woman. Do you like the take on this the famous Sherlock Holmes, and are you in or out on the movie based off of this trailer? I'll start off with you.
All right, so I watched the trailer, and the trailer didn't seem to fit the synopsis for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess maybe it could be...
The original trailers, if you watched a couple of the other ones, they had a teaser and stuff like that. You watch those, it does kind of fit.
All right, well, so, okay, I didn't watch the other one, so this one, the synopsis is a little different than what the trailer showed me.
A little bit.
I love the idea of seeing an older Sherlock Holmes looking back at his life and
showing
everybody that it was all like exaggerated, and that's what I kind of got out of the trailer.
It was just.
He didn't do this, I didn't do that. Like kind of like that kind of thing. I think it's a pretty cool concept. I mean, like I said, I didn't get the synopsis out of this trailer. I might have to go back and watch the other trailers now and just kind of see if I can get that synopsis. But I didn't really get that out of this trailer. It looked good to me. I mean, Ian McKellen looked phenomenal in it. I mean,
well, he's phenomenal in pretty much everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, he's really good in everything that he does. So, yeah, I like this. I mean, how about you?
For me, I have been really enjoying what I'm seeing from this. I love Sherlock Holmes. Mm-hmm. Love Sherlock Holmes. I love Robert Downey Jr. Take on it. I am all for it. I can't wait to see it. I love Ian McKellen. I think he's a fantastic actor. I just don't. The only thing I don't know is I don't want him to take away too much of the love that I have for all of the fake shit that is made up about his character. Yeah. I like to just dream that he was just this amazing detective and he did all this crazy stuff and it worked out. Yeah. I just like that. So that's the only part that I'm kind of taken back by. But for the most part, I just can't wait to see. I cannot wait to see this movie because I'm interested in seeing how his last, because also in this, I think they're also saying that he is kind of he's starting to get Alzheimer's. Yeah. So he is having a hard time remembering things. He has to like write things down on his hand to remember. Mm-hmm. So he's having issues with memory, but the kid kind of helps him. And I think that there's that counterpart as well in there as well. But I'm looking forward to it. I think that this should be a pretty good movie. It might not be something I see opening night, but I'm definitely going to try and see it while it's in the theater.
This is like another one of those film series that I've never seen any of the movies.
Oh, yeah?
The only movie I've ever seen that was like Sherlock Holmes based was The Great Mouse Detective.
Oh, well, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I like
so,
that. That's a good
movie. But viewpoint from the outside, I like the idea of him kind of going back and kind of reminiscing and saying that, it was a little exaggerated, some of these things that I've done.
Yeah.
So... But I see your point, too. But that little kid looks like he's going to be really good in it.
Yeah, he does.
He looks like he's going to be funny, kind of.
Little kids can either make or break a movie. Yeah. I mean, they can be really bad and take you out of it, or they can be really good and wow you with it. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Then we have the next one up. May 6th, we get Return to Sender official trailer. Return to Sender's synopsis. A nurse living in a small town goes on a blind date with a man who is not the person he says he is. I think it's a terrible synopsis.
Terrible.
I think it's an awful synopsis on IMDb. But, the official one might not have come out yet, even though the movie's coming out relatively soon. Are you in or out on the movie and on Rosamund Pike having this be her follow-up performance from her Oscar-nominated performance in the last year's Gone Girl? What do you think?
I'm in. I mean, it's creepy, man. This movie looks like it's going to be creepy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I think it looks good. I loved her in Gone Girl. Mm-hmm. And it kind of looks like it's on the similar path. It's not the same path, but a similar path. Mm-hmm. Like kind of roll. And I like that. I mean, why not follow up? You just got nominated for an Oscar. Why not follow it up with another role that's similar? I mean, try to go for that Oscar this time. It was hard for her to. for best, right? Or was it supporting?
Best actress.
Best actress. I mean, it was hard to beat Still Alice and what's her name from Still
Julianne
Alice?
Moore.
Yeah. So, but I mean, if her performance is on par with what she did in Gone Girl in this movie, she has another chance at it. I mean, that's my viewpoint. I love the movie. I love the trailer. I'm all in.
Yeah, I think that this movie looked creepy, but I'm disappointed in Rosamund Pike.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the same character, and it seems like this is going to be almost exactly the same performance, and I don't want to see the same thing over and over again. I think that she's going to miss out on opportunities by... this might have been already in filming while the other one was going on.
It probably was.
It could have been.
Yeah.
I don't know. But when it comes down to it, I don't want to see her doing the same thing because she's going to get pigeonholed in this, and then she's not going to be able to break out, and then her career is done. And I think she's a good actress, and I want to see her continue.
You have actors and actresses that are pigeonholed in spots where they've made really, really good careers out of it. I mean... I know, but this genre is tough. Exactly what you're saying. Like, it is, but I don't mind it. I mean, like you said, it could have been already in production while Gone Girl.
And that's the only thing is that I hope that something else follows this up next. And she's totally different. Something totally different. Not when she was in James Bond, but like something totally different. Just something out of left field that
maybe like a little
kind of gives you a different something just totally
romance
different.
comedy or
even if action or if it's like a really depressing movie. Something where she has to kind of change her look or something along those lines, like a Still Alice. Or I just don't want to see her get pigeonholed, like a good actress be pigeonholed into a certain type of role, even though she plays it amazing. Like she plays that creepy woman really well. She has those kind of crazy eyes. She does it well.
Have crazy eyes,
But I want to see her do something else. I want to see her move forward and not stay stagnant.
Understand.
All right. So now we get another one on May 6th, the Red Band trailer to the Human Centipede 3.
Oh boy.
The official trailer number 2. We have talked about this movie before, but we got a new trailer. And because it seemed to be a hot topic, I had been out with people and they started talking about the Human Centipede because we were talking about it. And it just started swirling around everywhere. And I'm like, oh, fuck. This movie is going to... I am not seeing this. I'm not seeing this in the theater.
See it.
I'm not seeing it.
I highly doubt it will come around here in the theaters, by the way.
You're probably
won't
right.
come around here.
You think that'll be NC-17?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh,
it has to
definitely.
be?
Yeah.
It has to be? Yeah, it won't be around here then.
No.
If it does,
you can
maybe
come
for
over to my
like 2
house
weeks.
though and watch it because I'll be
on VOD?
I'll be renting it on VOD. Yeah.
All right. So since it was like a hot topic and we're going to talk about the new trailer. If you have seen the previous movies, are you in or out on this living up to the previous 2 films? If you haven't, are you in or out on the movie based on the newest trailer? I haven't seen the previous 2 films. You have seen the previous 2 films. So do you think it'll live up to the...
I mean, the first one was actually really good. It wasn't as graphic. It was still graphic, but it wasn't as graphic as the second one.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard too much about this one, like how graphic it was going to be. I heard it was supposed to be more graphic than the second one. I don't know how that's going to be possible because the second one was really fucking bad. But I like the storyline behind this one. I think it's interesting. I think it's going to pretty much tie up the trilogy, like tie it up to where it's supposed to be, where Tom Six was looking for it to go. I mean, if it wasn't for the success for the first one, the second one would have never been made. And obviously, it just goes in order, like the success for the second one. He had it right at the beginning that he wanted it to be a trilogy. I mean...
Well, he succeeded in that, I guess.
He has succeeded in it. I'm interested in where he's going after this, like, because his movies are this genre, like disgusting kind of genre, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's not on the top of my. It won't be on my 2015 best movies of the year list. What? Maybe your 2015 creepiest movies. Or it's not creepy. Grossest? They're not creepy. It seemed kind of creepy. They're gross. Yeah, well, it seemed kind of creepy and gross. Like Saw is, I think Saw is kind of creepy, kind of scary, kind of like that kind of genre. This is just, I mean, you do get a kind of creepiness to it because you get the prison guard that he looks really creepy. Yeah. Like the deputy or the head guy. He looks like everybody he's really in that creepy. Fucking movie's creepy. Like
Even the guy who's proposing the idea looks like
fat guy.
Oh my god,
looks like a really fat KFC guy, the Colonel Sanders.
It's like fucking disgusting.
You already know me. I'm all in for this movie.
Yeah.
I'm all in for the trailer. I love this trailer. I liked it better than the first one. I think this one showed a little bit more of what the actual story is gonna be about.
Yeah.
I like it, man. I'm gonna enjoy this movie. I'm gonna have Doug over for the movie. I'm telling you, Doug is coming over for this.
You
movie.
guys can come over and do the review.
No, you will be with us when we're watching it.
You guys can do the review, and I'll listen to all the spoilers.
So you're obviously out.
I am. Well, I was kind of surprised. Like, I'm definitely out on the movie. Like, this is not my genre. This is not my genre. I am definitely out on the movie because it's not my genre.
Yeah.
The trailer was a little intriguing, but it very much so had that B movie kind of, but like over the top, goofy kind of, almost like a porn kind of style acting, like the old kind of porn movies, the way they acted, kind of like. I haven't seen any, but I'm just going from what people said about porn.
These guys are not going to win any kind of Oscars or anything.
No, they're not. They're not very good actors, and
I wouldn't say they're not good actors because they're good in these movies.
In this movie, they are not portraying good actors. They are portraying
bad actors.
Bad actors. Yeah. I guess
they do a good job portraying bad acting.
So it's like the Fast and Furious franchise.
Exactly.
No, anyway, I am not in on the movie. I am. If the movie wasn't so gross, I would consider seeing it based off the trailer. But since I know after hearing about it how gross the movie is, I won't see it. Unless
maybe when NBC releases it on an edited version.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do that. Yeah, on the Family Channel, the Human Centipede 3,
ABC Family.
All it will be is just a picture of one guy, and then it's done because they'll have to edit out the rest of the movie. So gross. Yeah. So I am. Yeah. I don't know. I can't even think when it comes to that movie. That movie's just so gross. So gross. That's so nasty.
All right.